Hello and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today I am going to talk to you about scale insect pests and how to get rid of them, how to spot them, what to do, how to get rid of them. This is a sign of scale insect pests on this arrowhead plant. Not sure where it got the scale because I don't have any other plants in the collection that have it, but for some reason this arrowhead vine did contract it, so we need to deal with this sooner than later. So good news is I can show you what it looks like. You can see these bumps on the front of the plant leaf here in the veining, in the midrib, and just throughout. They're also on the stem as well. So those are scale. Scale can be whitish, like a tan white and a whitish color. They can also be even a dark brown color, and even sometimes look a little like on the black side, depending on the variety of scale. This one, as you saw, was a lighter colored one, but just so you know, they do come in different colors. You can also see from the plant here that they will cause yellowing. So this yellowing, premature yellowing of leaves, and you can see this dappled look, this mottled look on this leaf here, the greening, and then also the yellowing. That's a sign that scale insects have been feeding on the foliage, because what they do is they feed on the foliage with these little mouth parts that they have as they move along. Also, another sign will be sticky substance on your leaves, because what happens when they feed on the chlorophyll in the leaves is that they extract a sticky substance as they move along, and that will get all over your leaves. And then also that can develop what's called black sooty mold. So you may have a moldy blackish gray, and looks more like gray black on your leaves. Another sign that aphids have been going to town on your plant. So as I mentioned, you want to deal with this problem sooner than later. I have had this plant away from other plants in my plant collection so that it doesn't spread, and going to show you what I do if this ever happens. Fortunately, I haven't had to do this for a long time, but this is what you want to do if you have scale insect pests, okay? So first of all, you don't want to be spraying. I am going to be spraying with neem oil, but you don't need to be spraying leaves that you're not going to keep anyway. So what you want to do first is you want to go ahead and clean up the plant. When you are throwing away this foliage, put it in a plastic bag, and you want to get rid of the leaves afterwards. You don't want to be laying this around next to your other plants, because these little buggers will go and find somebody else to feed on, okay? So cut out all of that kind of a thing going on here. Now, some yellowing in your plants is fine, but you saw that telltale mottled look is definitely a sign of an insect invasion, and usually scale. Could be spider mites as well. Also could be mealybugs. Although I find that if you're going to get anything on your arrowhead vine, it often is scale. May have been that a plant passed by, or someone even passed by with a scale, just one little scale on their clothing, and it transferred to this plant. So I'm going to continue, as I said, to clean up, getting rid of all of the old leaves, the ones that are definitely gone, and even the ones that look like they're going to be gone. Especially if you find some that are really heavily infested, just cut them off. You can even cut off sections as long as you don't go too crazy. But if, say, you find a section on the plant that's just totally covered, just consider pruning it. Just instead of, it makes it easier to get things under control. This leaf, as you can see, it's kind of borderline, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Remember too, when you are pruning, not to prune off more than 1/3 of the plant at a time. I would go even to 1/4 for plants that are stressed like this from a pest or a disease, because it's just too much on their system to cut back too much at once. So I think it looks like I got, for the most part, here's another leaf I'm going to take off. So the leaves that you see and you think, this is going to be done sooner than later anyway. I'm going to take this one off as well. Okay. As I mentioned, dispose of this. Tie the top and get it out. Get it into your trash and away from other plants. Okay. Now, one of the best things to use on your scale problem is neem oil. I have another video that I've done on neem oil. It comes from the neem tree. It's very effective at not only smothering the scale, but it also causes the scale insects to stop feeding, stop producing eggs, etc. So maybe you get one, you don't quite kill it, but then it's going to stop breeding anyway, right? So that's it hits it on many levels, which makes it such a good control for indoor pests. It also won't harm beneficial insects like bees and ladybird beetles and things like that. So that's another great thing about it. Now, when you do mix your neem oil, go by directions. However, I want to add, sometimes it'll tell you to mix in a little bit of dish soap in with the neem oil when you do it. And I would suggest using a surfactant, using a sticker spreader instead. I'll put a link below. Those are made specifically for pesticides, insecticides, to make them stick onto the leaves of plants. Now, a dish soap can do that. Some of them can, some of them can't. The other problem is you get a big soapy mess going on. So I would suggest instead just investing in some sticker spreader, and it will last you forever and ever. And you'll always have it, and you'll be doing this in a way that isn't going to create a lot of other problems along the way. Okay, so that's a rule of thumb there. Another rule of thumb is when the neem oil does like to separate, especially in cold water. So use warm water when you mix it up. Also shake it really good before use, and that will mix it up too, because you do want it to be nice and to have all the neem oil within that water, so that you're going to get a nice, really nice coating over all of these little scale buggers. Now, with an infestation, which this one's, I would call it a medium infestation, with an infestation like this, you do want to apply the neem oil more than once, all right? So I'm going to spray now. I am going to let it sit for a while. Then I am going to rinse this off with a strong spray of water, not too strong because these leaves are tender, but a fairly strong spray of water. I'm also at that point, I'm going to let this sit for a day. And then after that point, they should have died. And then when I rinse, a lot of the scale will come off. And if not, you will want to brush it off as you can on the leaf with your fingers as well. Scale tend to be really stuck on the foliage and on the stems and on the trunks as well. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. I always use a sprayer that has a really good a spray, a misting. But you want to keep going. You could use even something that doesn't quite, that has a bigger spray to it. But I really like the finer the mist, the better. It takes a while, but you can really, really soak the leaves when you do this, get into the cracks and crevices. So I'm going to go through this whole plant, not just the leaves that I see that have scale, but all of the leaves, because those little buggers have little eggs sitting there, and then they'll have a little They'll have over here, over there, they'll have one little scale on this one leaf that you don't notice. So it's really important to just really, really, really soak this plant well with the spray and let it sit there, let it do its work. Now, I will continue this for 3 different treatments at least. Sometimes if I continue even on the 3rd treatment where I see that there's still some scale, I will do 4 or 5 treatments. This is the thing with indoor pests, okay? The thing is that you really need to just keep hitting it. It's like a lot of things. You get rid of most of it, but then there's always a little bit more, and there's always a little bit more. So what happens, unfortunately, is you do this job and you think, oh, I did great, and then you don't pay attention for a few months. And those few little ones that hung out are now having a field day again on your plant, and you're back to square one, right? Or even worse, because there's nothing left. A lot left, nothing left, or a lot less leaves left at that point. Should you repot when these sorts of things occur? I would suggest doing 2 applications and then repotting. Because at that point you're going to have killed a lot of the eggs as well. The thing is if you go to repot right away, a lot of the eggs will fall into the soil and then they will start the whole process again for you. So before doing that, go ahead and treat really well twice. As far as how long to wait in between, 1 to 2 weeks in between treatments. So you can go 2 weeks. I really wouldn't go much like a month, because then all those little babies and things have had a chance to grow bigger and get another foothold, and you're back to square one again, right? So once again, it's that consistency, hitting it over and over, but you can get a lot of these infestations under control with scale. It may look at times like you're not going to, but you can. As I mentioned, go ahead and you can rinse. When you rinse the following day, make sure to rinse away from the soil, because you don't want all that stuff, and especially if there's some eggs that have survive to go into the soil and start the process again, okay? This is kind of smelly stuff. It's not like, it's not horrible, but it's not wonderful. So keep that in mind as well. If you feel like you're breathing it in too much, then wear a mask. Even though this isn't organic pest control for your scale problem, it is, you still can hurt yourself even with organic means. So you might want to do this in a well-ventilated area. I'm going to stop for now because it is getting a little much in here. Do it outside is fine, and then let it sit. In the warmer months, you could let it sit protected and then rinse it in the morning and then bring it in and then start it again, like I said, in 2 weeks. Check in unfurled leaves when they open up after this whole treatment to make sure there's not some there. You can do some spot spraying at that point. So say this leaf here opens up within the next week or so before I've done another treatment. I'll check it out, spray it. And you can even do prophylactically spraying, so but expecting things, right? So even spray, like I said, spray things that don't look like they have anything, because they very well may. So at this point, after we finish here, I'm going to put this outside, let it air out, to let the interior here air out, and in some shade. And we'll finish spraying a little bit more too, to make sure I got it really well, and rinse tomorrow, wait a week, and do it again. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.